Hey, welcome back. This is day number 23. We're getting close to the end, and the prompt for today was RIP. So, initially, there was I think I did it for the Holy Mage prompt, which I believe was Armored, and I initially wanted to do this hero for it, but I decided to do an Empowered Crusader kind of a thing. So, Ripped was the next best option for doing this hero. So, this is obviously the third member of the uh, trio of heroes that I've been kind of calling the Misters. And the other two are obviously Soul Punk, and I think he was like number two or number three of the prompt, and then Starboy is the other one. And so, but this gentleman's name is Iron Lad, and we'll obviously get into more of his backstory and stuff. But as I was kind of designing him out, as you kind of saw, I was just kind of doing some different things, and obviously I was trying to be very specific to the prompt and having him rip something and all that. But at that point, I was just like, yeah, I'll just go with the fact that he's a superhero, and superheroes are always ripped. So, but anyway, this hero, he's got four arms. He really doesn't have four arms, and there again, I'll get into more of his abilities and superpowers. But Yeah, and then he's got like this ability to control metal, and so he's got. I wanted to design like different aspects, very much like the T-1000 bad guy in the second Terminator movie. How it was very liquid metal, and in that movie, I guess he could control the way he moved, but this. And so with this, I wanted to design like flowing metal. So like he's got like metal kind of forming around his head and forming around his arms and legs and all that kind of stuff. And so it's I wanted that to have that kind of a unique feel, that it's like flowing metal, liquid metal around this guy. So the interesting thing is, if you watch my other videos with like Starboy and Soul Punk, I had actually developed this character out first many years ago, like 2008, 2009, while I was working at a steel factory. And so once again, we just had like these spray paints, and we had to like spray paint certain metal for certain, whether it was approved or not approved, or sizing or dimensions or any number of things. And sometimes spray paint would get on these work gloves that I had, and one time the work glove got spray painted. And it's interesting because if you look at Iron Lad's face, it's like a circle thing, and that's actually based off the logo of the steel factory that I worked at in my town where I lived. And so the little tidbit insight there is that these characters all kind of stemmed from me working at this place and just letting my creativity spur in a mundane job that I was at. So just kind of finishing out the coloring here and all that good stuff. So but yeah, it was fun, being with the first of the trio of heroes that got designed and stuff, and then the other ones that obviously followed. But yeah, a lot of fun. We'll obviously get into his powers and backstory and stuff that are the things that I usually enjoy kind of writing out a little more. So give a little more basis to the character and stuff like that. But yeah, so this was day number 23, and the prompt was RIP. So let's get into the backstory and powers and abilities of this character. So, like I had said earlier, this character's name is Iron Lad. And the backstory. So, Norrin O'Neill was a popular high schooler at the University High in Brentwood, California. He attended the same school as Starboy and Soulpunk, as well as his kind of arch enemy, Sledgehammer. Norrin was with the two other boys when the comet struck near their campgrounds and gave them all their superhuman powers. So, once again, if you want to get a little more in-depth story, you can go back and watch both Soul Punk as well as Starboy with a little more background. So, unlike the others, Norrin took a little longer to discover and understand his new ability. But eventually he got the hang of it and joined the other two boys in creating a trio hero team in which they called themselves the Misters. Years later, when they were in their college years, they were thrown into an earth ending dilemma when the aliens invaded. They teamed up with various other freedom fighters like Muki and the Renegade to force the invaders into retreat. So it's a little bit of background. Obviously, I've got a lot of these characters intertwined with these prompts and stuff that I've done, and so watching various videos. If you go back and watch Muki and Renegade and some of these other guys, you'll get a little more backstory on kind of what the alien invaders and stuff are for those who are first joining us for these videos. So, but let's get into his powers and abilities. So, like Starboy and Soul Punk, Norin's biological structure was altered by the strange comet that he encountered. Norin's powers and more let me start over. Norin's powers are more physical than the other two, playing more into his athletic build and physique. So obviously Norin was more of an athlete in high school than the other two boys, and his powers were altered to, or his body was altered to more facilitate that structure that he had. So he found out that his body can secrete a near indestructible biometal through his pores. This liquid biometal is alive and gives Norin very impressive powers and abilities. Due to the fact that it is in essence part of him, he can mentally control it, molding it into various shapes and objects. For example, he usually gives himself 4 arms for better fighting and strength. So obviously the second pair of arms really aren't part of him. They're just the metal forming into a separate set of arms. So, as stated prior, he is extremely strong, tested to lift at about 250 tons through some effort. But his true limits have yet to be determined due to his maturing body. His metal skin was also tested to be very durable, able to take a very powerful direct hit from Starboy, which hurled him nearly a mile away and inflicting no damage. So he's a very strong and adequate member of the Misters team. So once again, thanks for joining us. This was day number 23, and the prompt was RIP, and the superhero was Iron Lad. We'll see you in the next video.